Hello everyone, Buck Let's Play here, and today, as you can see, we are doing a review of Tropico 5, and I apologize, I know my review is a little bit late, but better late than never. I want to go ahead and throw something out there right now for those of you who probably will comment. This is my honest opinion of the game, and so I'm sorry if there's any biased comments. It's my absolute apologies. I do these reviews based upon what I believe in the game, and my main reason for doing it is so people can see the game for themselves, kind of make up their mind if they want to buy the game or not. Maybe they're thinking about it. So we're going to jump right into the game, and as you know, I base my reviews on 5 different aspects: graphics, story, quality, expectation, and duration. And I'll let you know that kind of as we go along. So the first thing you can see when you start a new game, you have the option of doing a tutorial. Very good tutorial if you ask me. Campaign, now that actually is where I would grade it upon its story value, and it has an excellent campaign. And I base my reviews on a scale of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10 on the story aspect. It's an excellent story, but we're not going to jump. Now, sandbox mode, as you can see here, you basically create your new actual dynasty, which is basically something that'll actually always be there when you create it. If you gain new members of your dynasty and start a new game, they'll actually already be in that game. That's kind of a cool feature. But you can name your dynasty. We're going to leave it at its default and click confirm. And then you'll actually get to go in here and pick some of the basic features when creating a leader. Now we're going to go ahead and give you the second part of my review, the graphics. We are giving it an 8 out of 10. This is an excellent game, but the graphics are somewhat similar to the previous Tropico 4 game, and they could have gotten better, they could have gotten worse, who knows. But they're still excellent, so that's why we give it an 8 out of 10. Now, as you can see here, you can pick between a male and a female, and let's see, you can pick all kinds of different names. That's another negative about the game. You don't actually get to type in the name yourself. You have to choose from a huge list of names here. So I guess we'll name him Roman. You can pick different skills, such as General, gives 2% more damage whenever you're using soldiers. A Foreman skill. There's all kinds of skills in here that you can pick from. And then there's different races, of course, so you can pick races. You can pick different types of faces. You go forward, and then you get clothing option. Now, my personal opinion is they didn't add a whole lot of options, and I mean, there are plenty of options. There's actually a little bit more than in Tropico 4, but it's actually an excellent, I mean, they did a good job. It's kind of funny that you could pick an astronaut, but you can customize the color, a secondary color, supplementary color, his hair, color of the hair, hat, accessories, etc., and then you go into the game. And as you can see here in Sandbox, you can set up however you want it. There are maps based upon difficulty. You can start in the different eras, and that's a plus that I give for the game. They incorporated this new era system into the game. Well, if you're playing the campaign, you obviously start in the colonial area, but when playing in Sandbox, you can choose which one you want to start in. Basically, if you start in the colonial era, you're just limited to colonial area, buildings, research, etc., and then you go on to the World Wars, Cold Wars. You complete tasks to continue on to these. My recommendation, though, you get the option to go forward, but you don't have to take it right away, so you could play in the colonial era for quite a while before advancing on. So that's another great touch. And now that we've kind of reached this point, I want to throw out one of my other review qualities. It's called quality. I gave it a 9 out of 10. The quality is basically just how much effort they put into the game. They put a lot of effort into changing the game. I give it a 9 out of 10 mainly because everything is excellent. There's just a lot of things that are kind of, not really buggy, but they're kind of the same from Tropico 4. But then you choose your era, starting population, money, the economic and political difficulties, disasters, set it to occasional. I don't think I would want it any more than that. Victory points, money, and construction. And then basically after that, you're ready to start your game. Now, one of the great things about this game, it's so awesome when you go from colonial to the next age, which I believe is World War, the World War era. and you can create your own constitution. You get to customize, saying, well, I'm a democratic society, and basically it forces you to have elections and things like that. So as you can see here, we've got a very crisp, very clean looking graphic settings here. Sorry for the lag, ladies and gentlemen. But as you can see, basically all the important missions that'll come up will pop up over your palace. You click
As you know, His Majesty is fond of setting fire to things. He has decided to build the world's largest bonfire and needs all
when you
the
start in the
wood he
colonial
can
area, you're
get.
technically not the president. You are the governor under the royalty, and you basically have a mandate, which you can see down here. You start out with 4 years, and then you complete these different tasks. Like he's telling you to build a logging camp. You do that, you'll get your mandate extended by 6 months. Now you right click, or you can click on this build menu option. You have all these different categories of buildings. He wanted us to build a logging camp, so basically you click on it, same as the old game. You can rotate it in almost any degree you want. And then, of course, the same old grid that says where's the best place to put it. Obviously, you don't want to put it along the beach. That would be a bad choice. But then you put it there. You got to make sure everything is connected by roads if it requires a road. And then you could set priority and all that fantastic stuff. In the almanac, it's a little bit different. It was a little bit complicated for me to figure some stuff out, but everything you need is in there. You just have to dig. When you get used to it, you'll find everything you need inside of here. So as you can see, like the different types of people, you have 25 people that are not in the labor force. That's like half of the people that live here. So in order to fix that, you might want to build new job buildings, like industry buildings. Of course, none of these are unlocked yet. You have to do research, which is the next thing I want to show you. You basically pick from this list here. Some of these you cannot do until you hit the next age, but as you can see, these are the ones that are available. Farm upgrades, you get ranch upgrades, you can do the shovel to look up mines, and some of these are pretty, hilarious. And the game does have kind of a comedic sense to it versus, realism, but it still is very real. So we can tell it to do mines, and then if we wanted it to do the farm or the sickle next, and then the cowboys, it'll do it in that order. As you can see, we have no research points, and you're required to build. It'd be under education. You would have to build a library to start generating research points, and that's actually what kind of drives the research system. Now basically, in the colonial era, to advance on to the World War era, you have to basically create a constitution and declare independence. Now in order to do that, you have to follow a series of steps that pops up as an opportunity. Basically, you have to increase the number of revolutionaries on the island. I know that sounds horrible. You don't want that later in the game, but at this point of the game, you want to increase the number of revolutionaries, and then you get the choice when the time comes. You can either pay the crown a large sum of money, or you can fight them if you have a large enough military. There's another plus of the game. Of course, you can't really see it much in this, but the military has been completely reworked. Whenever you create buildings, they have squads in them. You don't just have one soldier running out. Whenever you have a military building, it'll hire units, and they will actually be under a squad. And you can even have tanks. You can have a battleship, for crying out loud, or not a battleship, but an aircraft carrier sitting out here in the water that you could send an aircraft to intercept any of your rebels. It's such a neat game. Then of course you have your dynasty members. Right now we only have one member, and I accidentally exited out of that, sorry. Here we can see, here's our leader. He's a general, and if you get more people, whether that be through marriage or through adopting them, they'll show up here. And basically what you do with them, you actually can assign them to different things. Like say, maybe you want one of your members to be the manager of the dock. You can click on the manager button here, and you can hire someone. Of course, there's always someone available there, so you could hire them, and they'll actually increase the budget by the building by 5%. And then, of course, your dynasty members will have special effects as well. And as you can see here, this is your leader. Has a little symbol above him saying that is your dynasty leader. You cannot control them like in the Tropico 4 game, sadly, but it's still excellent. That's really a minor flaw. Alright, the next thing I want to show you is the trade option. It's an excellent thing. You can't do it yet. You have to purchase a trading license with either the Crown or the Dutch India Company. And basically, each dockyard you get a new trade ship. And let's say they're willing to export cotton. You would build a cotton farm. Or if, let's say they're willing to buy some of your corn, you'd probably want to switch it over to corn, and you'll get a little bit of a money boost. You still make money every time a ship comes in, even if you're not trading. It's basically goods that you're producing on the item. They're still making you money when a ship comes in, just like the previous game, but if you set up trade routes, you're going to get extra money. And of course, you have your overlays here. You can see where it's a good area to plant corn, good areas to plant cotton, good areas to plant sugar, and so forth. And that's really just about everything I wanted to show you. Of course, here's the constitution option. Once you've found a constitution, you actually can amend it once or twice every 90 days, I believe is what it is. But other than that, yeah, I know I didn't really show you a whole lot of the gameplay, but I'm getting out there. This is what it looks like. It's a very crisp, very clean looking game, and there's a lot of things to do. And my final grading quality here is duration. Whenever I look at a game, I look at a game that you can play for a long period of time. This is definitely one of those games. You could play it even when you hit the modern era. You just keep playing and you keep playing. If you got bored of it, you start a new game. You just keep playing it over and over. So I give it a 10 out of 10 on that. So I hope you all have enjoyed this review. I know it's not the most professional review in the world, but I'm not the most professional guy in the world, so obviously there's that flaw. But hopefully, just by me talking a little bit about the game, showing you a little bit of the game itself, hopefully this has encouraged you to go out and buy it. It's not the most expensive game out there, and it is worth the money that you're going to put into it. So let's go over those qualities one last time. Graphics, 8 out of 10. Storyline, 10 out of 10. Quality, 9 out of 10. Expectation, or my personal expectation, is 8.5 out of 10. And duration, 10 out of 10, with a final score of 9.1 out of 10. Excellent game. I highly recommend it to anyone, and it's probably going to be one of my next Let's Play games in my series. So once again, I hope you all enjoyed very much. If you did, make sure to subscribe. I do a Let's Play series, and occasionally I'll do a review of a video game. Of course, this is not the best review I've ever done, but I wanted to get it out there. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all later.